From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the shortwave facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media, or Voice of America, on the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. I'm Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on August 26 administered the oath of office to the newly elected officers of the National Movement of Young Legislators, or NMYL, at Malacañang Palace, urging them to lead with integrity, compassion, and service. The President said their election reflects the trust and confidence of their peers in their leadership and commitment to public service. He encouraged the young lawmakers to continue advancing responsive, inclusive, and people-centered governance as part of broader nation-building efforts. The NMYL is composed of elected local legislators aged 40 and below, including councilors, vice mayors, provincial board members, and vice governors. Founded in 1991, the group promotes good governance and ethical leadership through legislation and policy development, guided by its advocacy for new politics anchored in principles, platform, and performance. President Marcos emphasized that their role as young leaders is vital in shaping a stronger, more inclusive future for the nation.
This election of yours reflects the confidence that your fellow members have placed in your leadership, your competence and the discharge of your responsibilities and your duties, and your continuing commitment to public service. It calls upon you to carry forward a tradition that has helped shape young legislators into leaders who understand that the true measure of governance is found in the lives that we improve. I'll stay for my prepared statement. I would like you should also, the NMYL, the members of the NMYL, you have to realize how important, in fact, and how much sway you have in the general scheme of things, in that it is many of the initiatives that come through government come from our young legislators. Whatever it is, those of us who have been in the legislature for a long time always welcome, to a greater and lesser extent, always welcome the young legislators or all the young politicians and all the young public servants who come into government, for the simple reason that we need your energy. We need your ideas. The world is changing very, very quickly. And it is a fact of life that the elder you get, the less quickly you change with the times. We have to be, kailangan aminin naman natin ang katotohanan at yan naman talaga ang totoo. Kaya't kailangan na kayo ang kumbaga, that you will bring what are the normal parts of what our jobs are. And our jobs are simple, the public service. And in your case, in your specific case, it is to legislate and to create the laws, to help create the laws that will guide and that will define our society. And it is important that we have a good understanding of the society that we live in and the forces that we have to deal with.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang announced Wednesday that the government has mobilized hospitals and activated a coordinated referral system to prevent the surge of leptospirosis cases from overwhelming individual facilities. The move comes as hospitals report mounting pressure on emergency rooms, with San Lazaro Hospital receiving an influx of patients and Ospital ng Maynila declaring its emergency room or ER at full capacity. The National Kidney Transplant Institute has likewise reached full bed capacity. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directed hospitals to coordinate and redistribute patients to avoid overcrowding and delays in treatment. According to the Department of Health or DOH, 33 DOH hospitals across Metro Manila, Ilocos Region, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, and the Cordillera have opened leptospirosis express lanes for immediate assessment and possible admission. Surge capacity management is also being implemented to ensure beds and medicines remain available. Acting Health Secretary Edwin Mercado has convened a command conference with DOH hospitals to strengthen coordination on patient navigation and referrals. The DOH Operations Center is already working with San Lazaro Hospital to redirect patients to other facilities in Metro Manila. Castro added that DOH hospitals, health centers, and PhilHealth Yakap clinics are prepared to receive patients seeking consultation after flood water exposure. The palace said further updates will be issued on additional hospitals that may be tapped as the government continues to monitor the rising number of cases.
Totoo po yan at yan din po ang nais ng Pangulo, kaya po tumugon agad ang DOH at babasahin ko po sa inyo ang kanilang mensahe. Dahil ito nga po ay isa sa mga issues ngayon sa ating mga kababayan. So ang ayon po sa DOH, sa kasalukuyan 33 DOH hospitals sa Metro Manila, Region 1, 2, 3 at CAR ang may activated na leptospirosis fast lane o express lane para sa agarang pagtugon sa mga pasyente na nangangailangang magpa-ospital. Tinitiyak din sa pamamagitan ng surge capacity management na sapat ang mga kama o bed capacity at gamot para sa mga pasyenteng kailangang i-admit. Nagpatawag kahapon, August 25, 2026, si Secretary Mercado ng isang command conference sa mga DOH hospitals upang palakasin ang ugnayan ng patient navigation sa iba't ibang ospital. Nakikipagtulungan na ang DOH Operations Center sa San Lazaro upang ma-refer sa iba pang hospital sa Metro Manila. Ang lahat ng DOH hospitals, health centers at Yakap Clinic ay handang tumanggap ng mga pasyente na nangangailangan ng check-up matapos sumuong sa baha. So, bigyan po natin muli, mamaya malamang ay magbibigay kami ng update kung ano na po ang nangyari sa pagpupulong na ito para mabigyan namin kayo kung ano pa ang mga ospital na maaaring makipagtulungan para magampanan ang kanilang tungkulin sa mga pasyente na nagsasuffer ng leptospirosis.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang on Wednesday urged vigilance after foreign influence in the West Philippine Sea discussions, stressing national interests must prevail. Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro warned some politicians may be receiving support from China to push narratives undermining Philippine claims. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said names should not be disclosed until investigations are complete. Castro also cited Chinese-linked social media networks spreading anti-Philippine content, underscoring the need for unity. She warned leaders must not allow themselves to be controlled by foreign powers. The call comes amid continuing tensions in the South China Sea, where China's expansive claims overlap with Philippine maritime entitlements. The Philippines has consistently asserted its sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea.
Kung particular na politician ay kung meron man ay hindi naman agad-agad ito dapat na maisiwalat at kailangan pa ng masinsinang pagpapaimbestiga. Pero ang issue po na ito ay matagal na po itong napapansin. Actually, meron po tayo ibibigay na isang UST Joint student at nabanggit ko na rin po ito sa inyo noon kung saan may mga Chinese-linked social media network pushing anti-Philippine, pro-Duterte content. At nais po nating ipakita, ito po ay isang pag-aaral mismo ni Mr. Nico Balbidina. Basahin ko po ng konti ang kanyang naisulat. As the nation grapples with the ongoing impeachment controversy surrounding Vice President Sara Duterte and the alarming spread of fake news across social media platforms, prompting the House Committee to summon vloggers and influencers for a congressional inquiry, an unsettling discovery has surfaced. Press1.ph, an independent news website, has identified an army of Chinese social media accounts disseminating questionable and anti-Philippines content. So, kung mababasa niyo po, mariresearch naman po ito. Kumbaga, noon pa po ito at sa ating pagkakaalam, mismong si Mr. Nico Balbidina ay nakasama rin po sa hearing dito sa House of Representatives patungkol po sa mga fake news peddlers. Una-una po, isa lang po ang bansa natin. Yan po ang madiing sinabi ng ating Pangulo sa SONA. Isa lang ang bansa natin, hindi po tayo dapat nagkakaroon ng pagkakahiwa-hiwalay ng opinyon at suggestion patungkol sa ating karapatan sa West Philippine Sea o anumang parte ng ating bansa. Dapat nating ipaglaban ang lahat ng interes ng bansa pati na ng taong bayan, ng mga Filipino. Hindi po dapat na magpagamit sa ibang bansa para lang manatili sa pwesto. Mahirap po na ang maging leader natin ay hawak ng ibang bansa dahil ibang naratibo at ibang interes ang palalawigin ng mga politiko na hawak ng ibang bansa.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled program to give way to a special presidential event as President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. graces the 58th commencement exercises of the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City.
Mula sa Presidential Communications Office at Radyo Pilipinas, ito ang Presidential Live Event. Presidential Live Event.
Ilagan Atienza Valdepeñas, ang pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, Chairman of the Board of Regents, Attorney Ed Serapio, pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, University President and Chief Academic Officer, Attorney Domingo Reyes Jr., members of the PLM Board of Regents, college deans, university officials, faculty members and staff, graduating students and proud parents, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, I stand before you, humbled as the pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila confers upon me the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, its highest honorary degree. I receive this honor with gratitude, mindful of the responsibility that comes with it. This recognition affirms a principle that my administration shares with the PLM, that education must remain a pathway to opportunity, a catalyst for progress, and a cornerstone of nation building. The theme of PLM's 58th commencement exercises is especially fitting. Mga makabagong pantas taglay ang karunungan tungo sa kadakilaan at kaunlaran. It captures the purpose of education, to transform knowledge into wisdom, wisdom into excellency, and progress and service. And that, more than any degree or title bestowed today, is the standard to which I hold myself. For generations, PLM has opened opportunities for young Filipinos whose dreams should never be limited by their circumstances in life. PLM also holds a special place in our family, as the First Lady once taught at its College of Law. And through her years here, we became knowledgeable of the first-hand commitment of this university in shaping the future generations of Filipino professionals. Its history stands as proof that talent is universal and potential is found everywhere. I therefore accept this recognition with a renewed commitment to uphold the values that this university has long championed: karunungan, kaunlaran, kadakilaan, wisdom, progress, and greatness. These ideals remind us that knowledge and wisdom must ultimately lead to the progress of our people. The promise of a tertiary education and training still does not reach every Filipino household equally. And thus we remain committed to the full and effective implementation of the universal access to quality tertiary education. We continue to expand higher education opportunities and government financial assistance. We are ensuring that more students from disadvantaged and vulnerable sectors receive support through free college education and technical vocation education and training programs. But access must mean more than entering a university. It must mean providing our students, regardless of circumstance, the support needed to complete their education and to realize the promise that a college degree can bring. We are doing this by expanding free higher education, which now benefits 2.62 million students, while continuing scholarship and financial assistance programs such as the Tertiary Education Subsidy and the Tulong Dunong program. We have also launched the Bagong Pilipinas Merit Scholarship Program for outstanding senior high school graduates pursuing priority degree programs. At the same time, we continue to strengthen technical vocational education and training as an equally important pathway to employment and livelihood. Through CHED and TESDA, we are working to ensure that young Filipinos can pursue the path best suited to their skills and aspirations, whether through a college degree or a technical vocational training. Every Filipino who completes higher education or training represents far more than a diploma or a certificate earned. This achievement gives someone a fairer chance to succeed, brings a family closer to a better future, equips a worker with the knowledge and skills for greater opportunities. Ito ang tunay na bunga ng edukasyon, mas abot kamay, dekalidad at nagbibigay sa bawat Pilipino ng pagkakataong makamit ang mas magandang kinabukasan. So, to our graduates, may your learning be guided by wisdom, your success measured by the lives that you uplift, and your achievements dedicated to the progress of our nation. Wherever life takes you, remain true to the ideals of this university. Use what you have learned to help build a stronger, more prosperous, and more compassionate Philippines. Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat. Mabuhay ang PLM, mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your...
You just heard the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. at the 58th commencement exercises of the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila held at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City.
Dateline Malacañang.
Moving on, Malacañang said the Philippines will push for stronger regional integration and resilience as chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN this year, aiming to accelerate economic growth across the bloc. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. welcomed findings from the Philippine Institute of Development Studies or PIDS highlighting ASEAN's rising economic and strategic weight and its potential to become a global power. The PIDS study, ASEAN's Ascent, a global power in the making, noted ASEAN's combined gross domestic product or GDP rose from 118 billion US dollars in the year 2000 to 3.37 trillion dollars in 2023, with its population now exceeding 685 million. It said the Philippines' 2026 chairship is an opportunity to advance ASEAN's collective role in a shifting global order. Castro underscored the importance of unity among member states, adding that preparations are underway for the 49th ASEAN Summit and related summits in November.
So the President welcomes the recognition, the findings of PIDS. And ASEAN aims not only to maintain that gain, but it should accelerate the economic growth even further. So, as ASEAN Chair, the Philippines will continue working to strengthen this regional integration and resilience while ensuring that the ASEAN remains united and central to regional peace, stability, and economic growth. So, dapat talaga magkaisa-isa ang miyembro ng ASEAN at nakikita po nila kung paano nagtatrabaho ang ASEAN sa ngayon patungo sa stability at economic growth. Patuloy po ay mga pagmi-meeting patungkol po sa ASEAN Summit na gagawin dito sa ating bansa at ibibigay ko na lang po sa inyo yung mga detalye dahil ang SOSEC po at ang protocol po ang nakakaalam ng mga detalyeng ito.
Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Wednesday defended the Marcos Jr. administration's flood response, citing President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to immediately address severe flooding in Davao City and to verify nearly 13,970 flood control projects reported completed under the previous administration. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Marcos ordered Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon to act on Davao's flooding, noting that a project started in 2019 remains unfinished and dredging has not been done for a decade. She added that the palace wants the DPWH to confirm whether thousands of flood control projects reported as completed in 2022 actually exist, stressing this is not an accusation but a necessary review of public spending. Her remarks came in response to Vice President Sara Duterte's criticism that the country is submerged in floods and poverty while the administration focuses on her impeachment. Castro rejected the claim, saying impeachment is a constitutional process.
So doon po sa lubog na ang bansa sa baha, totoo naman po. Kitang-kita po natin ito sa Davao City. Kaya nga po nagpabigay na agad ng utos ang Pangulo kay Secretary Vince Dizon na ayusin ang pagbabaha, na malalang pagbabaha sa Davao City. At nakita po ni Secretary Vince Dizon na merong isang proyekto doon na 2019 pa ay hindi naaayos. At sa 10 taon ay walang dredging na ginawa Kaya po, inutos ng Pangulo, agad-agad itong ayusin para sa mga kababayan natin sa Davao City. At kung pananagutan lang din naman po ang pag-uusapan, of course, nagsalita na rin po si Ombudsman Boying Rumulya na magsisimula na rin po sila sa pag-iimbestiga tungkol sa malaking pondo dito sa Davao City at tinuturing na epicenter ng mga flood control projects. Pero hindi naman po niya ibig sabihin na mayroon na agad na issue ng korupsyon. At nakikipag-ugnay na rin po tayo dahil kailangan na rin pong makita at maimbestigahan. Aking ipapakita ang report dated May 30, 2022 kung saan as of March 2022 ay mayroong 13,917 flood control projects na kumpleto sa panahon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. So dapat po talaga itong makita at nakikipag-ugnayan din po tayo sa DPWH na dapat natin malaman kung ito ba ay numero lamang o totoong mga nag-i-exist. Kasi napakalaking bagay kung ito lahat ay maayos, nagawa ng maayos, kumpleto, dahil makakatulong ito sa problema ng baha. So kung meron dapat managot dito sa mga proyektong ito, dahil inamin naman ni dating Pangulong Duterte na merong ghost projects sa panahon niya, dapat din natin malaman. Kasi para mabigay po natin ang kahilingan ng Vice Presidente na managot ang dapat na managot.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Wednesday, Malacañang assured the public that transactions under the Pax Silica initiative will not disadvantage the Philippines or its people. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has taken a firm stance that investments must benefit Filipinos without compromising their welfare or rights. She emphasized that while the country welcomes investments, the government will not tolerate actions that violate Philippine laws or undermine citizens' rights.
Nagsalita din po ang Pangulo. Hindi maaaring gumawa ng anumang transaksyon na ang Pilipinas o ang mga Pilipino ang siyang madidihado. Kailangan po natin na magkaroon ng mga investments pero hindi po nangangahulugan na ang ating mga kapwa Pilipino ang magdurusa. So maliwanag po yan. Hindi po natin pababayaan kung ano ang itinatalaga ng ating batas. Hindi po natin i-violate ang karapatan ng ating mga kapwa nating Pilipino.
Silica as a good deal, highlighting its potential to create jobs, spur economic growth, and promote skills development, technology transfer, and training. The President also welcomed collaboration with partners including the United States, Europe, China, Japan, South Korea, Canada, and Australia. The proposed high-tech manufacturing and innovation hub in New Clark City, part of the Luzon Economic Corridor, is expected to generate up to 190,000 high-quality jobs and position the Philippines as a key player in global supply chains for semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and critical minerals.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Wednesday assured senior citizens that their government benefits will not be delayed. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the immediate resolution of complaints over unreleased 10,000 peso cash gifts under the expanded Centenarian Act. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the issue, raised with the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA, has reached the President, who directed agencies to act quickly. ARTA has endorsed the complaints to the National Commission of Senior Citizens, or NCSC, with a clarificatory meeting set on August 28th involving ARTA, NCSC, local government units or LGUs, and the complainants. Castro stressed that assistance should not be unnecessarily delayed, adding that the government is committed to ensuring seniors receive what is rightfully theirs.
Opo, ito po'y nakarating sa Pangulo at kailangan po talaga maibigay kung ano ang benepisyo na dapat na ibigay sa ating mga elderlies, lalo-lalo na yung mga senior citizens dahil yan naman po ay talagang kailangang maipaabot sa kanila ng mas mabilis at sa mabilis na pamamaraan. So, ipinag-utos niya rin po na agaran itong solusyonan. Kaya po, nakatanggap po ang ARTA nga ng reklamo at ito po ay nagkaroon ng endorsement sa Committee on Anti-Red Tape ng National Commission of Senior Citizens or NCSC noong August 25, 2026 at naka-schedule na po ang clarificatory meeting sa August 28, 2026 sa pagitan po ng ARTA, NCSC at mga concerned local government unit. At pati po yung mga nagrereklamo na ating mga senior citizen. So makakaasa po ang ating mga kababayan na patuloy pong gagampanan ng pamahalaan at ito po ay tutugunan agad ng Pangulo at ng ARTA para po maresolba ang issue na ito. So, di po kinakailangang patagalin ang mga tulong na dapat naman po maibigay ng mas mabilis na paraan.
Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Wednesday that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is open to imposing stiffer penalties for illegal possession of firearms following fatal school shootings involving minors. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro described as good Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla's proposal to impose a 20-year jail term and remove bail for loose firearms. Castro stressed that deadly incidents could have been avoided if gun owners were responsible, noting that illegal possession remains a separate issue. President Marcos, she said, will decide once Congress passes legislation seeking tougher penalties.
Sa ngayon po ay wala po tayong maibibigay na anumang stance ng Pangulo patungkol po dyan. Dahil kung ito po ay gagawing batas, magsisimula ito mula sa Kongreso. Although ito ay naging magandang suggestion ni Secretary John Vic Remulla, ito naman din po ay para sa mas protektadong bansa at mas protektadong mga kababayan natin. But we have to wait for the versions of the bills so that the President could make a stance on such issue. So ngayon wala pa po. Sa totoo lang, kung ang tao naman ay maingat talaga na humawak ng kanyang mga baril, hindi maaaring magkaroon ng negligence nasasapit sa gintong mga klaseng pagkakataon or sitwasyon. Pero syempre iba yung usapin pagdating sa loose firearm. Iba yon kasi hindi yun lisensyado. So kung ano po talaga ang maaaring maging magandang batas para ito po ay mas mabigyan ng mas malaking parusa, ang Pangulo po ay open. Pero muli, ang sasabihin ko ay kailangan mabasa muna kung ano man yung magiging probisyon patungkol po dito para po mas makapagbigay siya ng intelihenteng komento. Pero muli, kung ano man ang ikagaganda ng ating bansa at sa interes ng ating mga kababayan, hindi po iyan hahadlangan ng ating Pangulo.
Has urged Congress to amend the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act or Republic Act 11766 to make possession of loose firearms a non-bailable offense punishable by up to 20 years in prison.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Wednesday, Malacañang said The national government will closely monitor the use of the Local Government Support Fund or LGSF to ensure that assistance to local government units or LGUs is properly utilized. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro reported that the proposed LGSF allocation for 2025 is 58.53 billion pesos, slightly higher than the 57.87 billion set for 2026. She said the increase will give LGUs more resources for infrastructure and social development projects, including farm-to-market roads, water systems, health facilities, bridges, disaster-resilient communities, and aid for marginalized groups. The LGSF also covers funding for the distribution of free rice in various localities. Castro emphasized that the national government's responsibility does not end with releasing funds, stressing the need for strict monitoring to prevent misuse.
Sa ngayon, ang proposed na amount para sa LGSF ay 58.532578 billion, representing an increase of approximately 1.14% compared to fiscal year 2026 LGSF allocation of 57.872578 billion. Ito po ay para mas lumaki at lumago ang pagbibigay ng pondo sa mga lokal na pamahalaan upang matugunan ang kanilang mga issues patungkol sa infrastruktura at ang social development. Alam din po natin ito ay parte kung saan magbibigay na maglalaan ng pondo para sa libreng bigas sa mga constituents po ng bawat bayan. At hindi po natatapos ang obligasyon ng national government matapos ibigay ang pondo dahil kinakailangan po itong ma-monitor kung lahat po ng naibibigay na tulong sa ating lokal na pamahalaan ay nagagamit sa tama at hindi po naaabuso ang pondo. So ito po ay patungkol para sa infrastruktura, sa kanilang mga farm-to-market roads, water systems, health facilities, mga tulay, disaster-resilient community facilities, and assistance for marginalized groups. So kahit ito ay ibinigay po na pondo, hindi po natatapos ang obligasyon ng national government pagkabigay ng pondo.
Despite the devolution of functions, national agencies will continue oversight of LGSF-funded programs. The Department of Public Works and Highways will monitor infrastructure projects, while agencies such as Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority will oversee scholarship programs. At the League of Municipalities of the Philippines Luzon Congress, Executive Secretary Ralph Recto said the government is accelerating devolution with the projected national tax allotment or NTA expected to hit a record 1.4 trillion pesos nationwide, an 11% increase. Luzon LGUs are projected to receive 676.9 billion pesos. Rector urged LGUs to ensure proper use of their NTA and LGSF allocations, particularly for climate adaptation, disaster preparedness, and solid waste management. Castro added that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will continue engaging LGUs for feedback on LGSF implementation, recognizing the need to provide local governments with additional resources to better serve their constituents.
As I have said, ang kanilang function, hindi po natatapos ang obligasyon ng national government pagkabigay ng pera. So, kumbaga, lahat ito ay imomonitor. Of course, pag sinabi natin infrastructure, nandyan din po ang pag-monitor ng DPWH. Ang patungkulan po sa pagbibigay ng scholarship ay nandyan din po ang DepEd, CHED at ng TESDA. Ang Pangulo po kasi ay nakikinig sa mga hinaing, suggestion, opinion po ng liderato ng local government units. At nadinig po din natin, muli na gusto nating banggitin ang naging opinion ni Mayor Leni Robredo kung saan sinabi niya na naging maganda ang resulta ng pagbibigay ng LGSF at nakita po nila kung paano ka-transparent at kung saan dapat mapunta ang pondo. At nadinig po ng Pangulo na mas kailangan pa ng mga bayan ng local government units na mas taasan pa ang pondo para mas mabigay pa nila ang kinakailangan ng kanilang mga constituents.
Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, for our foreign exchange rates, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reported that as of Thursday, August 27th, the Philippine peso traded at 61 pesos and 58 centavos against the United States dollar. The Japanese yen was valued at 39 centavos. The Singapore dollar at 48 pesos and 45 centavos, the South Korean won at 4 centavos, and the Chinese yuan at 9 pesos and 16 centavos. Other key exchange rates showed the Hong Kong dollar at 7 pesos and 86 centavos, the British pound at 83 pesos and 75 centavos, the euro at 71 pesos and 78 centavos, the Canadian dollar at 44 pesos and 39 centavos, and the Saudi Arabian riyal at 16 pesos and 40 centavos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and mabuhay.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.